The video started playing on her phone at exactly the wrong moment. Or maybe it was exactly the right moment, depending on how you look at it. Marcus's wedding. Our wedding. 7 years ago. Me in my dress, him in his tux, both of us laughing at something his best man said. And there she was, showing it to the entire table at Marcus's company retreat, her voice dripping with amusement. Can you believe he was married to her? I mean, look at that dress. Did she make it herself? The table laughed. Marcus's colleagues. Their wives. All of them looking at a video of the happiest day of my life like it was a comedy sketch. I was standing 10 feet away with a tray of drinks. They had no idea I was catering this event. My name is Simone Wright, and 6 months ago, I lost everything. Not in the dramatic way you see in movies. No explosion. No scandal. Just a series of small failures that added up to one big collapse. My restaurant closed. My marriage ended. My savings evaporated. And Marcus, my ex-husband, the man I'd helped build from a junior analyst to a VP at Goldman Sachs, married a woman named Ashley 3 months after our divorce was finalized. Ashley, who'd never worked a day in her life. Ashley, whose father owned half of Connecticut. Ashley, who was currently showing our wedding video to strangers and making jokes. I set the tray down on the bar and walked away before I did something I'd regret. Let me back up. When I met Marcus 12 years ago, I was running a food truck in Brooklyn. He was a junior analyst who ate lunch at my truck 3 times a week, always ordering the jerk chicken. We fell in love over late nights and early mornings, building dreams together. I'd cook for his work events. He'd help me with business plans. We were a team. When he proposed, he said, "You're going to be the most successful chef in New York, and I'm going to tell everyone I knew you first." I believed him. We got married in a small ceremony in Brooklyn. Nothing fancy. My dress was off the rack. His suit was rented. But we were happy. The video Ashley was showing? That was from the reception. Marcus's best man had told a terrible joke and we were both crying laughing. It was a perfect moment. A moment that apparently now looked pathetic to people who measured worth in stock options and vacation homes. 5 years into our marriage, I opened my first restaurant. Simone's. A small place in Fort Greene. 40 seats. Seasonal menu. Everything I dreamed of. Marcus was proud. He'd tell clients about it, bring colleagues in for dinner. His career was taking off too, promotions, bonuses, bigger titles. We were building our empire. Then his hours got longer. My hours got longer. We started seeing each other in passing. Ships in the night, as they say. Year 7, we barely talked. Year 8, I found out he'd been having an affair with someone from work. Not Ashley. Someone else. But that relationship ended, and 6 months later, he met Ashley at a charity gala. The divorce was quick. Clinical. His lawyers, my lawyers, a conference room in Midtown. I got the restaurant. He got everything else. 3 months later, the restaurant failed. Not because the food was bad. The reviews were incredible. But the location was wrong, the rent was too high, and I'd made financial decisions based on having a partner who was supposed to be there. I closed the doors on a Tuesday in March. Stood in the empty dining room and cried. Then I picked myself up and did what I had to do. I started catering. Which is how I ended up at Marcus's company retreat in the Hamptons, working for the agency that booked last-minute events, wearing a black vest and bow tie, serving drinks to people who looked through me like I was furniture. The retreat was at some estate that probably cost more per night than my monthly rent. Ocean views. Tennis courts. A chef's kitchen that made me want to cry for different reasons. I was hired to work the cocktail hour before dinner. Passed hors d'oeuvres, refilled glasses, smiled politely. I didn't tell the agency I knew Marcus. They wouldn't have sent me if I had. I told myself I could handle it. It was just one night. 4 hours. Then I'd go home, cash the check, and never think about it again. Then I saw Ashley. She was exactly what I expected. Blonde. Thin. Expensive. The kind of woman who'd never had to wonder if she could afford something. She had her arm looped through Marcus's, laughing at something one of his colleagues said. Her dress probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. Marcus saw me first. Our eyes met across the patio and I watched the color drain from his face. Watched him realize what was happening. Watched him try to calculate how to handle this. But Ashley didn't notice. She was too busy holding court. I kept moving. Kept serving drinks. Kept my face neutral. Professional. That's what I told myself. Be professional. Then Ashley asked for champagne. I walked over with a tray of glasses. She took one without looking at me. Without saying thank you. Just plucked it off the tray like I was a piece of furniture. Marcus, darling, she said. I'm so glad we chose this venue. So much better than that dreadful place your ex-wife had. What was it called again? My hand tightened on the tray. Simone's, Marcus said quietly. It was called Simone's. Right. Simone's. She laughed. I looked it up once. The review said the food was good but the atmosphere was, what did they say? Trying too hard. Isn't that perfect? The man next to her chuckled. I think I went there once. Tiny place. Overpriced. Everything in Brooklyn is overpriced now, Ashley said. All these people thinking they're chefs just because they watch cooking shows. I should have walked away. Should have gone back to the kitchen, finished my shift, gone home. But I didn't. Actually, I said, and my voice came out steadier than I felt. Simone's won 3 awards in its 5 years of operation. We were featured in the Times twice. And our Michelin reviewer said it was one of the most authentic dining experiences in Brooklyn. The conversation stopped. Ashley looked at me for the first time. Really looked at me. Excuse me? Her voice had an edge to it. You were talking about Simone's, I said. I thought you might want accurate information. Her eyes narrowed. And you would know this because I owned it. The silence that followed was the kind that makes your ears ring. Ashley's mouth opened slightly. Closed. Opened again. Marcus stepped forward. Ashley, this is Simone. My ex-wife. I know who she is, Ashley said slowly. Then she smiled. That specific smile that means someone is about to enjoy themselves at your expense. Oh my God. You're working this event? You're a caterer? I'm working this event, I confirmed. That's... She looked around at the others, inviting them to share in her amusement. That's actually sad. I mean, you had a restaurant and now you're serving drinks at corporate events? I'm doing what I need to do. Clearly. She took a sip of her champagne. Marcus, you didn't tell me your ex-wife was struggling this badly. We should give her a bigger tip. The laughter from the table felt like a slap. Here's what I learned in that moment. You can prepare yourself for humiliation. You can tell yourself it doesn't matter what people think. You can build walls and convince yourself you're strong enough. But when someone takes the worst moment of your life and turns it into entertainment, those walls don't hold. I walked back to the kitchen. Set down my tray. Went into the bathroom and sat on the closed toilet lid and tried not to cry. But I did cry. For about 5 minutes. Then I washed my face, fixed my makeup, and went back out. Because I needed this job. Needed the money. Needed to prove to myself that I could survive this. The rest of the cocktail hour was torture. Ashley made sure of it. Every time I passed with a tray, she'd make some comment. Loud enough for others to hear, but quiet enough to pretend she was joking. Oh good, more champagne. We want to make sure Simone gets a good tip tonight. Marcus, should we order takeout later? I don't trust food from people who couldn't keep their own restaurant open. Do you think she's bitter? I would be if my ex-husband upgraded like that. I made it through the cocktail hour. Dinner was being handled by the main catering staff, so my job was done. I could leave. I was packing up my supplies in the kitchen when Marcus walked in. Simone, I'm so sorry. I had no idea you'd be working this event. I would have said something, I would have. You would have what? I looked at him. Warned me? Hired a different company? Told your wife to be a human being? He flinched. Ashley didn't mean it the way it sounded. Yes, she did. He was quiet for a moment. How have you been? Really? You don't get to ask me that. I still care about you. You have a funny way of showing it. I zipped up my bag. Your wife just spent an hour humiliating me in front of your colleagues. You stood there and let it happen. I didn't know what to say. How about stop? How about that's enough? How about literally anything? He looked at the floor. I'm sorry. Yeah. Me too. I left through the kitchen entrance. Tea barely started, and sat in the driver's seat with my head against the steering wheel, walked to my car, a 10-year-old Honda that. I was done. Not just with tonight. With all of it. The struggling. The humiliation. The constant feeling of being 2 steps behind everyone else. I was done. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Is this Simone Wright? A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. Yes. This is Catherine Mills. I'm a producer for the Food Network. I've been trying to reach you for 3 weeks. I sat up straight. I'm sorry, what? We're developing a new competition show. Top chefs who've faced setbacks, giving them a chance to rebuild. Your name came up in our research. Your restaurant, Simone's? The reviews were incredible. We'd like you to audition. I stared out the windshield at the mansion where Ashley was probably still laughing about me. When? I asked. Next week. We're doing initial auditions in Manhattan. Can you make it? Yes, I said. I can make it. Excellent. I'm sending you the details now. And Simone? I read every review of your restaurant. You're exactly what we're looking for. She hung up. I sat there in my car, in the parking lot of a mansion I'd never be able to afford, after the worst night of my life, and I started laughing. Not happy laughter. The kind of laughter that comes when the universe throws you a life preserver right as you're about to drown. The audition was in a studio in Chelsea. They had me cook 3 dishes in 90 minutes. No prep. No warning about what ingredients would be available. I made jerk chicken spring rolls, my food truck original. Pan-seared scallops with mango puree. And a chocolate souffle that I almost dropped but didn't. The judges tasted in silence. Then Catherine Mills smiled. Welcome to Chef's Redemption, Simone. The show filmed over 6 weeks. 12 chefs. All of us with failed restaurants or broken dreams or bankruptcy filings in our past. All of us fighting for a $250,000 prize and a chance to open a new restaurant with network backing. I won't tell you every challenge. Every close call. Every moment I thought I'd get eliminated. But I will tell you this. I made it to the finale. The finale aired on a Thursday in November. 90-minute episode. Me versus another chef named David who'd lost his restaurant in Hurricane Sandy. We had to cook a 5-course meal for 50 guests. No restrictions. Make your best food. Show us who you are. I cooked every dish that mattered to me. The jerk chicken that made Marcus fall in love with me. The braised short ribs I'd perfected during year 3 of Simone's. The key lime tart my grandmother taught me to make. Each plate was a memory. A piece of my life I was offering up to be judged. The judges deliberated for what felt like hours. Then they called David and me back to the stage. "This was the closest decision we've ever had to make," Catherine said. "Both of you cook brilliant meals. Both of you deserve success. But there can only be one winner of Chef's Redemption." She paused. I held my breath. "Simone, congratulations. You're our champion." The prize came with conditions. I had to open my new restaurant within 6 months. Had to let the network film the process. Had to agree to a year of follow-up episodes. I signed the contract before they finished explaining it. I opened Simone's second in Brooklyn 4 months later. Bigger space. Better location. Same food, but refined. Everything I'd learned from failure, from humiliation, from starting over, poured into every dish. The reviews came fast. A triumph of resilience and flavor. Simone Wright has created something extraordinary. This isn't just a comeback. This is a revolution. 3 months after opening, we got a Michelin star. 6 months after that, we got a second one. I was in the kitchen on a busy Saturday night when Marcus walked in. I saw him through the pass, standing in the dining room with Ashley. They'd made a reservation under a different name. Probably didn't want me to know they were coming. But I knew the moment they sat down. I set out their courses personally. First course. Second course. Third course. Each one better than the last. Not to impress them. Because this was my restaurant and everything that left this kitchen was going to be perfect. When they finished, I walked out to their table. Ashley saw me first. Her face did something complicated. "Simone," Marcus said, standing up. "This was incredible. Really. The food was." "Thank you." "We saw the show," Ashley said quietly. "All of it. I watched you win." I looked at her. She looked different than she had at that corporate retreat. Smaller somehow. "I owe you an apology," she said. "What I said that night. How I treated you. It was cruel. I was cruel." "Yes," I agreed. "You were." "I'm sorry." Here's the thing about apologies. Sometimes you accept them because the person genuinely changed. Sometimes you accept them because holding on to anger is exhausting. And sometimes you accept them because you've moved so far past that moment that it doesn't matter anymore. "Thank you for saying that," I said. "I hope you enjoyed your meal." I went back to the kitchen. Later that night, after service ended, I sat at the bar with my sous chef and we split a bottle of wine. "You know what I was thinking about today?" she asked. "What?" "That video. The one of your old wedding that woman showed around. I hadn't thought about that video in months." "What about it?" "That woman thought she was humiliating you. Showing everyone what you used to be, what you'd lost. But all she did was show people how far you'd come." I smiled. "From that wedding to this." She gestured around the restaurant. Full dining room. 2 Michelin stars. A kitchen full of talented people who chose to work here. That's not a downgrade. That's evolution. That's survival, I corrected. "No," she said. "Survival is what you did at that corporate event. This?" She raised her glass. "This is victory. My name is Simone Wright. I lost everything. My marriage. My restaurant. My dignity, at a corporate retreat where my ex-husband's new wife made me entertainment for strangers. But I got something better back. I got myself. The woman who falls down and gets back up. The chef who turned humiliation into fuel. The person who knows that rock bottom is just another place to build from. So if you're struggling right now, if someone's laughing at you, if you feel like you'll never climb out of whatever hole you're in, let me tell you something. They're wrong. You will climb out. And when you do, you won't just survive. You'll thrive. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about people who refuse to stay down. Drop a comment telling me about a time you turned failure into success. I want to hear your story. Until next time, keep cooking. Keep fighting. Keep rising. Because the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting better.